Hi guys, welcome SimUK here on SimUK Sports, and you may notice that my mouth and my voice are not quite in sync at the moment, and the reason for that is because unfortunately we lost all audio in these recordings. There was no game audio or mic audio at all, so I'm going to try my best to commentate for this quarter-final match in the 6 Red Championship. We're in the quarter-final and we're up against Mr. Luca Brecel from Belgium, and you can see we had the opening break there, which left one ball open, but he was a bit loose on that shot, and that allowed us in to take the lead. And not a bad set of reds there to work with, and we tried to work our way through, getting a break of 14. But in an attempt to break the reds up a little bit better and just really open things up, I had a very loose red there, which was pretty easy to get in, and this allowed Luca Brecel to jump in and start racking up the points, as it were, making up for his earlier miss. And Mr. Brecel was doing incredibly well until he snookered himself, something which happens far too often on this game. And leaving the scores at 14-24, it was absolutely anybody's at this point. Obviously, from here, the pot wasn't really on, so there was a little bit of snooker upon snooker played, and some very good technical snooker was played, both by Brecel and myself. It was really an entertaining, wonderful match. Everything that could happen in a game of snooker happened within these games, and it's such a shame that I've lost the original footage. But Mr. Brecel is incredibly good at getting himself out of snookers. You'll see this time and time again, and he's also pretty good at putting me into snookers. But on this occasion, he left me with the shot on, and not wanting to look a gift horse in the mouth, I promptly lined the red up, adjusted my power, looked to play the ball round the black, and potted it beautifully. So from this point on, I'm pretty much in the driving seat, not really in any significant danger of losing the game or the match. And you might think going for the green with a bit of backspin was the ideal shot here, but I decided to test my power on the spin to try and get back around for the yellow, which turned out to be an absolutely dramatically awful choice, leaving me with just the very, very edge of the yellow to aim for. Now, this shot was effectively a shot to nothing. It was an attempt to pop the ball, but really all I wanted to do was to leave the cue ball somewhere relatively safe. And that could have been shot of the tournament, except for the fact that I left myself with an even more difficult potentially shot on the green. So once again, with the confidence of having just potted the yellow, I decided to go with the same idea and pulled off the same result, rather surprisingly, which was pretty good. At this point, I was kind of clambering around trying to keep things under control and get control of the cue ball and the game itself, and decided that 3 times the charm, and we would also have a go at potting the brown here. And if the brown had gone in, or if the brown goes in, then we would be clear to clear the table and take the first frame. And in goes the blue, in goes the brown, without any issue whatsoever, leaving a nice, easy, straight shot on the blue to finish and take the first frame against Luca Brecel. We've now got a 2-point lead over the gentleman, so just the blue and the pink required. And that was a rather poor connection on that shot, and you see that the blue has ricocheted out, and we have basically given a gift back to Luca Brecel. Now, I've been playing this game quite a lot, as you know, and there's been a number of updates released, and I've got to say, one thing I've noticed is it seems to be even more jumpy now than it was before. Even in beta, before the game was released, it seemed to be a lot smoother than it is now. I do have a new monitor. It's a 240Hz monitor, and I'm running it only at 144Hz. but it seems, I'm not sure if that's what's causing the problem, but being able to get the shot absolutely bang on is almost impossible now, because the progress bar is quite jumpy and stuttery on the way up, and it was never like that before. So I really was struggling to get decent clean shots throughout the entire game. So Mr. Brecel had taken the first frame, and he'd left us on rather nicely after his break, but we only managed a break of 8 ourselves before we once again succumbed to the rather jumpy, jaggedy shot bar issue that I've just explained to you. Mr. Brecel kind of half-assedly took the lead with a break of 19, but then potting that yellow, he then snookered himself again, something which happens time and time again, far too much considering I'm playing on the hardest difficulty on the AI. And that allowed me back into the game, which I promptly took a good stranglehold of. Again, unable to get that perfect shot, but it was good enough to get the red in, and finished up with a nice corner shot on the black to finish, bringing the game to 1 frame apiece. It's first to 4 frames in order to win this tournament. So it's been a bit of a shaky start for both of us, and game 3 kicked off with my break, which was quite decent, not terrible at all. Thankfully that green was kind of covering anything that may have potentially been left on. But Mr. Luca Brecel, not afraid to take a chance, went for the pot, playing safely himself. Got a pretty decent shot there, and there was a lot of technical snooker in this game. Now, I thought many different ways of playing this shot, and somehow I selected this to be my best option, which obviously broke the pack. And despite the safety shot being quite good, we were incredibly lucky because we actually managed to put the cue ball so far behind the brown that it was a snooker. Mr. Luca Brecel, desperately trying to hit any red, managed to hit the pink on his first 3 attempts at this, in fact. And only on attempt 4 did he finally manage to hit the ball. Now, I could have played on from that point, but I wasn't 100% happy with the layout of the reds. I felt like I would be putting myself into a bit of a situation. So I took the 18 points, and I had to play on from the position at which he finally managed to hit a red. Now, honestly, it's an absolute shame, an unbelievable shame, that I didn't get the audio footage on this particular recording. I played a number of games which I will now have to edit in this format, which is again an absolute shame. But everything that could possibly have happened on the snooker table happened throughout these games, and some of the snooker that was played is absolutely mind-bogglingly good. It's end-to-end stuff, it's edge-of-your-seat snooker, and it was just brilliant. There's no way of me replaying these games, and to be honest with you, everything that happened in these games was so good that I pretty much wouldn't want to either. So you can see once again there, losing the cue ball, put myself in a right sticky position. I actually snookered myself there. I played the snooker off. Mr. Brecel took the cue ball, took the game by the scruff of the neck, cleared the table, finishing 55-39, giving him a 2-1 frame lead over me and putting the pressure back on me. But every time they break in 6 red, they pretty much leave 2 balls on the left-hand side. This happens with every single break. It is starting to sort of wear thin. The AI simply are not good enough, and they consistently play badly, which is a terrible thing, and certainly something that they need to look into and get resolved sooner rather than later. So having had the opportunity to open up the play, I got myself into a bit of a tight situation, but not playing too badly. A break of 14, pushing through, trying to play some nice gentle shots. And you'll notice that the camera has gone off. Honestly, Everything that could happen happened. So we not only lost the mic audio, the game audio, but at some point the webcam decided to turn off as well, which means that we lost that footage and about probably 30 seconds of the game itself, where the video basically stopped and started again all by itself, completely out of my control. And yeah, it was an absolute shambles, to be quite honest with you. The gameplay was spectacular, but the recording was an absolute disaster. Now you see, I played a very, very loose pink there. Not only did the shot not go in, but the cue ball position was sadly lacking. Mr. Brecel had a bloody good effort at potting that, but he was just a little bit short of power and unfortunately sunk the pink. So from this position, I decided to take the ball on and decided to take the shot on, and I could play with a free ball because I was unable to hit or see a red from that position, which allowed me to very easily and sensibly play this yellow as a red, if you're not familiar with the rules, into the pocket, giving me 1 point and allowing me then to continue my break with the pink and finally clearing up the table. So, as I mentioned, everything that could possibly happen in snooker happened in this game. There is nothing that didn't happen, well, with the exception of the cue ball leaving the table, which I'm not entirely sure is absolutely possible with the physics limitations that this game currently has. So the pink went down nice and easy. We cleared the red, and with 55-0, we took a bit of a risky brown on. Again, struggling with the stutteriness of the shot bar. We misplaced that shot, leaving the shot, well, effectively on, but Mr. Luca Brecel, being a gentleman that he is, conceded the frame and allowed us to pull it to a 2-2 level. We join again in the fifth game here with Mr. Brecel, playing yet another rather loose safety, if you will, but there were a lot of safety shots in this game, and we decided, we were taking a bit of a risk by taking this shot on, especially with the shot bar issues, but we kept our nerve, played a nice clean shot and took control of the table. Some very decent snooker throughout this entire tournament, and in the next couple of games that you're going to see, you will see some of the best shots you've ever seen. Yeah, quite honestly, I'm just shocked and dismayed that my recording software is tripping me up and tripping me over so many times in the past month. I honestly think it's time for me to look for another recording software option. So Realism Action, for all its brilliance, is actually quite limited. You can see there that I put myself in a bit of a situation. There wasn't really a good colour to play for, so I once again played safe, desperately trying to hold the table, as it were. And here we have another very loose safety shot from Mr. Brecel, opening up the reds for us. There was only one red on, but it was a pretty easy one. And we took it, continuing to progress and push forward in this game, and hopefully take the lead for the first time in this quarter-final match. Once again, you can see there that I was trying to hold the cue ball for the black rather, but was unable to do so. Despite that little mistake, I managed to push through, and you can see me playing one of my classic shots here. Is probably one of my favourite shots in snooker, is red into the middle pocket with a bit of side spin to split open the pack, and that worked rather nicely for me there on that occasion, allowing me a decent opportunity to play this red into the corner pocket and hold for position, which with a little help from the red I did. But now obviously having that red on the side pocket, I needed to put a bit of spin, come round the pink and try and get a good line on that red. The black went in as planned, but the power was a bit over the top, and I once again snookered myself, leaving what would have been a very easy third frame in my favour. giving me the lead, turned into something rather, rather more complicated. Having said that, I went for the snooker. I kind of saw the angle pretty quickly, took the shot nice and smooth, and the result was absolutely perfect. I basically could not have played that shot any better if I was given 100 chances to do so. Mr. Brecel sort of trying to beat me at my own game, went for the snooker. It was again a very loose attempt at a snooker, and we were able to get onto the red here. Now once again, this is a safety shot to nothing, keeping the power down, trying to bring the cue ball back up to the bolt cushion and hoping that the red doesn't sit over the pocket. I needn't have worried because it was a shot from heaven, and in goes the red without any real issue at all, allowing us this nice easy pot on the brown. Unfortunately, I double-clicked the controller, which means that the cue ball moved maybe a millimetre and gave a foul of 4 to my opponent, who promptly put me in the most difficult snooker I have ever been in. Now, I did deliberate over what to do in this situation for quite some time. I was looking for a banana shot. I was quite irritated by the fact that the banana shot options really in this game are too limited. I mean, I can pretty much play a U-turn shot with the cue ball on the snooker table myself, and I'm not a professional, so the limitations are a bit too much. But I opted to try and put side spin around the brown and onto the yellow, which I obviously failed to do. And I think the AI again should really have made me play it again. I certainly would have made him play it again. But he opted instead to play that shot, which left the cue ball touching the yellow. And as I mentioned many times already, everything that could happen happened in this game. In this instance, if you have a touching ball, you can play away from the ball. You don't have to hit anything. You just play away from the ball, which I very, very promptly did, leaving Mr. Brecel in an equally complicated and tricky snooker. So from this point, he is really up against it. It's not going to be an easy shot. It's to take the lead, and he is very, very good at getting himself out of snookers, and he managed to do that here, leaving something of a half opportunity for the corner pocket. And on this occasion, we were good enough and accurate enough to pot that yellow down. So, back in control of the game, 27-28. We just needed the green, the brown, and potentially the blue in order to secure this game. First shot, a very difficult green into the corner pocket. Wonderfully taken with relatively decent position on the brown. Nothing too serious there. And all we had to do was just keep our nerve, hold our position, and maintain that cue ball control. A perfect shot on the brown, but my angles were off, leaving once again the game back in unknown territory. And Mr. Brecel stepped up and promptly cleared up. But unfortunately for him, he only had enough points on the table to draw level with me. And you can see here, 23-30 with the tricky black, which he managed to pot with extreme success, bringing the game level, and we have a respot situation. Now, Mr. Brecel went for the pot, which is perfectly fine. Some players will do that, but many will take the safety shot until somebody makes a mistake. In this instance, he made the mistake, and I took the win with a nice, gentle, calm and controlled corner black, thereby giving me the lead for the first time in the match and being 3-2 ahead with just 4 required to take the entire match. I then once again got an opportunity straight off the break, as I always do, because the AI consistently leave 2 red balls at the side, and I played extremely well, potting without fault to get a break of 45. That very tricky green there, looking like it was going to end in tears once again, but fortunately Mr. Luca Brecel was gentlemanly enough to concede the frame, thereby giving me the fourth and final frame and allowing me to win the match. So thank you, Mr. Luca Brecel. You have wonderfully allowed me to progress to the next round of the 6 Red World Championship. Guys, thank you for watching. Apologies for the loss of audio. I hope I've done a good enough job of commentating over the game. And please join me where I'll have to do it again in the next one.